All right, thank you for staying with the Daybreak. It's time for State of the Nation. Let's talk about all matters, politics, and everything in between there, everything that's been happening around this country. Joining me in studio is Dr. Kimani Wamatangi, Senator for Kiambu and Majority Whip. Thank you so much for making time. And Honorable Samson Cherargei, Senator for Nandi, is also here with us. Thank you for making time. Dr. Alfred Mutua, Governor for Machakos, is joining us online in just a bit. As soon as we have him, we'll link him in directly. Honorable Jared Okello, Member of Parliament for Nyando, is joining us also online from Mombasa. We're speaking to them in just a bit as soon as we have all of them up and running. Let's start off with the front page of the Daily Nation and also the Standard. Bad day for Uhuru in by-elections, and Uhuru and Raila fury as Ruto celebrates. Cherargei, is this a sign of things to come?
Good morning, Trevor.
Morning.
Our viewers, maybe say one thing before I answer your question is that at least now the rains have subsided, and I hope when things happen going into the future, we will not see the distractions that we saw 2 weeks ago. You saw Nairobi, some parts of Nairobi were impassable, and also in Nandi, whenever rains are a lot, we always experience landslide in areas of Tindret and part of Nyando, and I'm happy the member of Nyando is here with us. They are suffering because as in Nandi is Haplands. But Trevor, I saw something very peculiar yesterday before I answer your question, is that there was a dam that was supposed to be constructed called Sondu Miriu that was supposed to cost 20 billion in the border of Kericho and Nandi, and it was supposed to assist us by ensuring that the water coming from Nandi could be arrested so that the people down in Nyando area and part of Kisumu and also Chemaze do not suffer. But I saw in one of the dailies yesterday that there is a fight. I think the National Water Harvesting Authority, there has been a tussle, and we hope they will be expedited very soon so that we can construct that multipurpose dam. We saw, and I think, Trevor, before I answer that, we have always discussed about issues of corruption here. Yeah. Interestingly, one of the companies that was awarded the tender was the highest bidder of 19.9 billion. China Zing, as opposed to, there was a company, I saw it yesterday in the papers, called China Zugback, which was 19.2 billion. And I thought as a government, they should have at least saved 700 million. Our economy is suffering. So those are some of the issues that, you know, corruption, by the way, people don't know. It is not somebody works with a gun and shoots you in the head, and like Money Heist that we watch in movies. It is something that so we hope the Ministry of Water and the Agency of National Water Harvesting should at least save 700 million. If China Gezuba was the one that was rightly to be given, be it, or they do a proper evaluation so that the right person is given, and we protect wananchi, because when we have that dam, I can assure you the people, and also Nandi will get water, Kisumu will get water, and we are good. So we hope that issue will be resolved as soon as possible. I thought I just mentioned this because my county and my neighboring county, Kisumu, has been and also, of course, you know, many people who follow this show, sometimes even from your area, from Kisumu County and Nandi, would also want their issues and concerning authority.
Yeah,
so
that's give you closing remarks.
Yes. Oh, okay. Thank you. So we hope the subsidy of rains will assist, and the government and other agencies to ensure we don't lose more lives and destruction. So you have asked a question. Of course, this is politics, and you know, when we said we had numbers and people were doubting, but they didn't know where our numbers were. Our numbers were with the people and God. You saw, and we want to take this opportunity to thank the people of Ruriri Ward in Nyandarua County. They have given us a firstborn from that area, which is significant, and we want to thank them because despite intimidation, we want to thank them. The people of Bonjari also, our candidate came in strong third. She did very well, and by the way, it's a plus because she's a woman. And you can see UDA also at most tries to ensure that women participate in the election. You saw also yesterday Juja, an affiliate of UDA, also came in strong, George Koimburi. And I want to congratulate the winning candidates and also those people who participated. the IEBC, the Wananchi for turning up to vote, although it is their right under the Constitution. And these are good things, good tidings to come in 2022. And I can assure you, of course, it was sad, and it is good to call out that unfortunately the recent by-elections have shown that some people want to turn Jubilee, not Jubilee, but say the country into a police state. Like, for example, in Bonjari, you thought the police headquarters had been relocated to Bonjari constituency in Kisii County. And you had even, they transferred, even including county commander, many officers that within that Bonjari sub-county. You saw even in Juja, in Kiamu County, contingent of police. So my worry is going into the future, you know, people might not come out to vote because, you know, there is people, when they see a lot of police, it's like you're instilling fear.
Yeah.
And I think I saw the statement by the ODM leader, and he was very emphatic, and I sympathize with ODM. Because they were being harassed and beaten up like Burgengas in Bonjari. And they were saying they should not take the cover of handshake as an opportunity to erode the liberties. I'm just quoting the statement that was made by the ODM leader. That shows that we have a problem in the country. And it is time that we call out the Ministry of Interior, the Minister of Interior, the Inspector General of Police, DCI and DPP. And I'm happy that for the first time, IEBC, when you saw yesterday, they have even directed the DPP investigate, like, for example, allegations facing the governor of Kiambu, people who participated in Ruiru, Ruri, and also in Bonjari. Because we must be careful going into the future that some people who think power is so absolute can misuse the power they have in to harass their opponents or their candidates. So I hope, and you can see the prefects at office of the president in OP are busy misusing and abusing the state machinery. Let us call it, let us not turn this country to police state. We only need protection. We don't need to relocate a police headquarters to Bonjari, for example. Let us be careful. But finally, I can assure Kenyans and the Hustler Nation and Kenya of Goodwill that these are good tidings of coming up 2022, and it looks like Kenyans are realizing that we are moving into bottom-up approach economy, that even you saw, for example, Juja, there was a lot of intimidation. Even counting of votes had to be stopped. But the will of the people is the will of God, and I'm happy that the message is home that the deputy president as our candidate in 2022 resonates well with the message and the issue that we have into the future. So and I can assure you finally is that Jubilee will just remain as a political party, or as not as a political party but as a name, just like some of the insurance or any other, because they are in the final funeral rites. And I can assure you it is because Jubilee started practices of undemocratic practices. 2 weeks here ago, you were asking us what is happening in Jubilee when they were de-whipping Senator Isaac Mwaura and other senators. And I said here on this forum, if you have seen a party that has sunk too low to fight people living with disability, to fight women, then that party has no future. So I can confirm to you that Jubilee is on its deathbed, and unfortunately we loved him more. But we loved him, but because of other circumstances, they can no longer survive. So I can assure you, of course, looking into the future, we are impressed with the performance, and we hope, God willing, that these good tidings will go beyond 2022 when Kenyans will make their decision.
Wamatangi, Jubilee lost out in all the 3 races, Rurie, Bonchari, Juja. Are you concerned, including the old president's own backyard in Juja?
Well, Trevor, good morning.
Morning.
Let me say good morning to our viewers. And today, it feels a bit strange to sit on this side. You know, I'm used to, I'm used to sitting on the other side, the side of president.
This is an ordinary one.
Now you have brought me to the side of lawyers and barristers and put me next to
the lawyers and barristers of the president.
But good to be here, Trevor, and I want to say good morning to our viewers. I appreciate to be here every Thursday so that we can have good dialogue on the state of affairs of the country. And yes, what you're saying is the current day's discussion how is Jubilee fitting after the elections that were held from the day before yesterday?
Yeah.
And Trevor, we are a democracy, and it is the will of the people, the majority, that takes the day, while the minority have their say.
Yeah.
And so, personally, I don't see anything that is so out of form, in my view, just looking at the three by-elections. Because if you look at what has happened in most of the by-elections that have been held in the last 6 months, so to say, I mean, Jubilee has had its day. There are areas where we won, where you did not even expect Jubilee to win. I mean, recently we were magnanimous when we won the seat in Wasingishu. You remember, the MCA seat. And we won in Kahaba Wendani. And it's give and take. You win some, you lose some. And I think, I don't think anybody should be admitted to hospital because we lost the elections in those three places.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say is that definitely, as a party, when you find that you've gone into a contest and you've lost that contest, you introspect.
Yeah.
You want to find out, where did you go wrong? Did you have the right candidate? Did you disorganize or misorganize your troops and your people? Did you sell the right message? And what I would be saying first, even before I go to the specifics of the various by-elections that were there, that is in Rori, in Juja and Bonchari.
Yeah.
First, Trevor, I would want to decry the state of our politics, because one thing that we have to say across the political divide, whether you're in ODM, in the new baby or kid on the block, UDA, whether you are in the mega Jubilee, our politics has deteriorated across the board to absolutely non-issue based politics. I mean, you, Trevor, tell me, as a host here, or as a news anchor, as a media person, when have you found a candidate across all those areas where we have had those by-elections running an issue-based campaign, whereby somebody stands up and says, this is where we have been, this is where we want to go, this is how we will build the country, this is how we'll help our people. I mean, and indeed demonstrate worked out plans, a policy, a team, that would give people hope that indeed politics is progressive, that it responds to the needs and wishes of the people. And that is one area where we have to all agree that we are not doing well. It doesn't matter what you win. Why would anyone pride themselves whether X or Z or A wins, and you are winning to still decline on the progress that we have made, when we were more conscious of that politics is supposed to be progressive. It's supposed to be developmental. And I think, when I look at where we are going and the script that we are carrying as political leaders, it is not exciting at all. I don't think Kenyans feel inspired. Look at, for example, what my colleague Cherage was speaking about, the violence that was witnessed in various by-elections, not only in the last three, even before, and this has now become the trend. I mean, way from 2007, 2008, when we had the worst of it all, I mean, somebody expects that by now we should have learned that this is not the way to do a politics, that it's useless, that it's destructive. And so, getting to that, I think that it is important for us to put that across, such that we can ask ourselves as politicians, what contribution are we making to the country with the kind of politics or brand of politics that we're having? Now, to the specifics, quickly, Trevor. One, in Bonchari, we had our candidate, and I was amused a little when I heard Cherage saying that he wants to congratulate their candidate because she came a strong third because she was a woman. And I mean, who says that women have to be congratulated at just because they have been third? I mean, we will be speaking later about a woman who is the Chief Justice of Kenya. Women become #1 in big ways. So you don't have to congratulate her on the simple aspect that she's a woman who came in third. She had the possibility of winning anyway. To Rorie, where the MCA won on UDA, and the elections were called to be free and fair, you congratulate the man and say, welcome to the role of leadership, and hopefully he will be useful to the people of Rorie.
Okay.
In Juja, that is my county, the elections were held, and at the end of the day, as Jubilee Party, in spite of many issues that were there, and you saw it was on TV, there were questions, matters of, ballot papers that were not there, and other malpractices. But at the end of the day, the election was called and a winner was announced. Okay. And because we have to be magnanimous, we have to be progressive, we have to be, cohesive. Yeah. We congratulate the gentleman who won. Okay. He's one of the members of Parliament of Kiambu. All right. And we will work together.
Okay, agreed. Honorable Jared Dokelo, what do you think? Is this a significant shift in the way the electorate thinks so far?
Well, I thank you very much, Trevor, and good morning to my colleagues in studio, Honorable Cherargei, my very good friend, and Honorable Wamatangi, my very good friend. Trevor, firstly, I'm tempted to delve into the flood issue because you know I bear the brunt. But for purposes of this show, and you have said you'll dedicate a few more minutes towards the tail end so that we at least address this issue because it is a very big concern to my constituents. Firstly, allow me also to congratulate Honorable Pavel Oimeke, the MP-elect for Bonchari, Honorable Francis Gidaiga, the UDA newly elected MCA in Nyandarua, together with Honorable Ndungu George Koimburi, the new MP-elect for Juja. I think they have done great. Amidst all, they have been able to clinch these things, and we thank them and we thank God for their opportunities. And we hope that even though they are coming towards the tail end of this term, that the little opportunity they will have will create an impact onto the lives of people who have elected them into office. What we witnessed, Trevor, during these by-elections, if you leave out Ruri, which I think was calm for the better part of the day, what we witnessed in Bonchari, what was there in Juja, are actually spiraling back on the gains that we have made so far. The genesis of the handshake was to address electoral injustice and to tone down the normal hyperbolic political context that we commonly see in this country. And if a government under the aegis of Jubilee would mobilize the police to undertake such police brutality to an innocent people only out to express their democratic will, that is utterly uncalled for. The drafters of our Constitution, Trevor, were not very idle when they dedicated a whole chapter 4 on Bill of Rights in our Constitution, because from the history, we were coming from a very difficult moment under Moi and under Kenyatta 1, where judges could be called in the night to go and pass verdict, without subjecting a person to due process, or where the police were set on people very innocent as such, and beat them up and just create bodily harm. So the drafters of the Constitution knew where we were coming from and where we needed to go as a people, where people express their will without intimidation. For what we witnessed in Bonchari, what we witnessed in Juja, is something that we need to confine into history books,
Yeah.
and also respect the very tenets of our constitutionalism. What we saw did not square out with the constitution, with electoral laws and contextualism. And as a nation, we really have to do something. But the message that is out there, Trevor, we know Jubilee as a government has lost 3 seats, 3-0.
Yeah.
They need to step back and carry out an introspection and find out why are people revolting against a government that they just put into office the other day.
Yeah.
Are they listening to the masses? Is it about the prices of essential commodities? Is it about applying taxes to an already suffering populace? Is it about increasing fuel in a time such as this? They need to really listen to the voices of the people.
Yeah.
President Uhuru Kenyatta is going home, and he has few months in office. But I think Jubilee, for purposes of democracy, needs to remain. So the exit of President Uhuru Kenyatta shouldn't kill the democratic will, which is commonly expressed through political parties.
Okay.
And this is a subject that we need to delve into a little further, Trevor.
Okay. I don't know whether we have Mutua with us already. All right. Governor, what are your
Yes.
views on this? Is this a shift in the way the electorate now thinks?
Well, let me first say a big jumbo to the viewers from wherever you are, and also to my panelists. Today I couldn't be in the studio. It's okay. Now, I'm looking at, and I'm listening to what has been said. First of all, I want to recognize that my good friend Senator Cherengai is wearing a very interesting tie, which I think he pulls out when they have some bits of a victory, not loss. Now we'll be watching what he's wearing, and then you know how the wind is blowing. I'm listening very carefully. And there's a point that Senator Matangi made, and that is, why do we have elections? What is it all about? What is our democracy all about? When you look at these by-elections, we've made them to be a matter of life and death. My good senator with a brilliant tie today talked about hordes of police officers taking over a police station and people being transferred. Why? It is because in this country, unfortunately, we have a culture of winner takes it all, of rigging elections. So as a result of that, you find that you have the actions that we saw in Juja, where a whole governor is shouting, let's count all the ballots, because of the corruption that comes into our politics. Hence, the corruption that we see with leaders when they get in, and hence the corruption we see when people suffer, because from the very beginning, the system is flawed. You don't see this kind of infighting, you don't see this kind of throwing of boxes and police being deployed everywhere. When you have elections in England, for example, or in Australia, or by-elections in the US or other democratic countries, why have we let ourselves be caught up with this? And it is basically because we are a country that believes more in politics than development. Here, we do not vote for people based on policy. We vote for people based on, it's a kingpin, it's my tribal mate, it is my party mate. It is not about what that person will do. The very corrupt person who will do nothing for you, who has done nothing for you, will be voted in. You will vote for that person because they're your tribe or an affiliate, or because you've been bribed. We saw cases of people being bribed even in these elections. Why do you need to pour money? Why can't people, when you bribe, when you have people bribing, you're actually rigging the elections. Rigging elections is 3 ways. One, you stop people from being expressed, or you constrain their voice by not covering them if you're the media. Number 2, by bribing voters so that they can change their view and go with the money because we are in a poor economy and people are hungry. And number 3, the normal rigging that is done maybe by electoral officials. So all this is rigging, and that's a problem. Now, does this mean that Jubilee is down? I don't think so. Because one way or another, what we are seeing is the factions that are from with Jubilee. Ni watoto wa nyumba moja ndio wanagawana mashamba. And I can assure you this will not be reflective in 2022. I have talked to Kenyans, from taxi drivers to waiters to doctors. Kenyans are fed up with these actions they see every time with these big parties. Come 2022, you'll be shocked. Parties like My Maendeleo Chap Chap we'll be winning big, because people now want parties that care about them, not about just staying in power.
Okay. Cherargei, you disagree?
I think
different conversation.
Largely, I want to of course thank Governor Mutua for noticing my very interesting and victory tie, and say thank you. But I am surprised that you didn't ask Senator Kimani Wamatangi, being the majority whip in the Senate, and also being the senator of Kiambu. We never saw him campaigning, but I appreciate that he's a busy man. Maybe he was looking at the government agenda in the Senate, and you know it's a heavy agenda. But it shows you that the Jubilee has totally collapsed, because if the majority whip of the Senate cannot even have time to go and engage the people of Juja to ensure the candidate of Jubilee wins, that is very unfortunate. And lastly, I want to agree with Governor Mutua that the office of the president, especially the Minister of Interior, and I was shocked, because even there was an attack to the governor's residence, Governor Ongwaya, and he was with, and you know, with my brother Mzee Ongeri, he's an old man, he has served this country distinct, and you could see being attacked and harassed with tear gas by the police officers who are supposed to be their grandsons, even the members of ODM. So it shows how we want to turn this country into a police state. And I think going into the future, and you saw I made a statement on the floor of the House that the IBC, the IG, the government must tell us the state of preparedness towards the 2022 elections, because you know these are telltale signs that if we are not careful, Trevor, and Kenyans, is that we might look into the future of fomenting some level of bitterness, some level of discomfort that will not be good for this country in 2022, considering that 2022 it will be high-octane politics, because now there is President Uhuru succession politics. So I hope from these by-elections that we have seen, as parliament also we have a role, as leaders we have a role that we need to condemn. And I want to appeal to members of National Assembly. If anyway the National Assembly was still functioning, because I saw yesterday they were only giving tax exemptions to Japanese companies and Japanese consultants, they were giving KQ exemptions, but the ordinary wananchi, they were not being exempt. But if we have a functioning National Assembly, I believe the Departmental Committee of National Security should call in the Minister of Interior, the Inspector General of Police, Mutiambai, and Matiangi, to appear before the committee to answer as to why it was necessary to transfer the people. And you know that fear.
You think the National Assembly is dysfunctional?
No, from where I sit, of course, they have been accused before. And you remember when the Minister of Interior appeared, he was lecturing them like small babies. So we hope now that they are finished giving tax exemptions to some big companies and blue chip companies like the Japanese, and I'm disappointed that the newspapers, or I don't know whether they have reported, and I didn't see in your media, either in your media or others, that it was important that the National Assembly should be discussing the recovery of ordinary mwananchi, the one Governor Mutua taxi drivers, waiters, the economy recovery. Wamatangi will agree with me that in his Kiambu County, there are many small businesses that are struggling, that we should be giving them tax exemptions and reliefs. So I hope in the next weeks when the National Assembly resume, they must even start a vote of no confidence against the Minister of Interior. We must call them to order, because if we don't call to order, the ordinary wananchi in Bonjari constituents don't have the power we have. We have a power that we can call a government official to accountability. And I want to appeal. What happened in Kabuchai? And you remember, as I conclude, I was arrested. In Matungu, somebody lost 2 million, and you see somebody crying that my 2 million in Matungu by-elections in Kabuchai, and everybody even didn't care to follow up. We have seen the same problem is being transferred to the just 3 by-elections. So looking into the future, that the National Assembly, the concerned committee must call in the necessary security agencies, and I hope the DPP and DCI, the IBC has written them a letter. We expect the governor of Kiambu to share with us why he was saying you must count all the votes over my dead body, and he was causing commotion. So we need to address going into the future, because my worry, if we don't address Trevor, and my brother here, I hope you will agree with me that if we don't address such small incidences, it might lead to something that we will not be comfortable with.
Okay. Wamatangi, I'll give you a chance to respond to this briefly. He's raised many issues.
I wanted,
not campaigning.
I wanted Cherargei
to...
I wanted him to tell us, or to tell me why he was, you know, manning the movements of people in Juja, and seeing who is where, because then he may have to tell us a lot about the violence that was there. Now that, you know, he has a tag in Kabuchai. We watched him in the morning, you remember, when he was being arrested there. So you can assure the people of Kiambu that you are not the one who.
No, I was only on command center on this one.
Commanding the violence.
No. Looking at how the by-election was ongoing.
You know, you said so emphatically that I wasn't there, so I thought that.
But you know, honestly,
you must have been.
You
but anyway, of course, I mean, Trevor. Running a political campaign is not about the riding on trucks and shouting and you know, waving placards.
Yeah.
There's a lot much more to running a political campaign, and I can assure you that I was there full time all the time, doing what I do best. And like I've said, what we just need to do as a party is to look back and see where did we go wrong in some of the arrangements we made, and correct. But don't forget, Trevor, even as we speak about Jubilee, that still today, Jubilee in Parliament still has got more than 160 members of Parliament. That in the Senate, we still have about 24 members of the Senate. So not counting the nominated ones by the party. And in Kiambu, for example, we have got 10 elected members of Jubilee. The senator is from Jubilee, the governor is from Jubilee, and the deputies. So I don't think that we have a crisis as far as it is concerned, but we should be dynamic and vibrant for that matter. And we still have a mandate up to the year 2022 to run government, to deliver to the people of Kenya what we have promised to deliver. And so I want to agree that there is work to be done by the party, looking forward. But let me just make a quick comment on some of the issues that were raised by my colleagues. And, Trevor, part of what I believe we should be talking about and asking ourselves when we speak about our national politics is, doesn't it concern us that every political party today, Trevor, that comes to your mind is and revolves around a personality? That when you talk about UDA, you don't even remember there is a Cherargei. You don't remember that there's an agenda to do this. You just only need to know that there is one man called William Samoei Arap Ruto who is there. And that is UDA for you. You go to, ODM. If you remove Raila Odinga, then you may as well forget ODM. You go to Jubilee, it still has a lot of its issues still around the head of state, for that matter. And what the work we need to do, in my view, as a country, is to work hard to build political parties, as I have said here before, that are based on thoughts, ideology, policy, constitution, that guides the parties to outlive the personalities. And that way we can start having politics, and I want to say this as a repeat, Trevor, that we need to have politics being a player in the development agenda of a country, such that whatever is done by the political arm of our leadership complements what is done by our bureaucrats. It complements what's done by our technocrats, that we can resonate with what the judiciary is doing, such that then that way you can have a country that's moving forward. Otherwise, politics and politicians just continue to be a spoiler. I want to probably point out, one would also want to ask themselves, what is the role of, for example, NCC in where we are right now? I mean, why are they quiet? When you find, because there's a lot of complaints about violence, that police are heavy-handed, they are deployed, they are beating up people. But don't forget that indeed politicians themselves are also part of the biggest problem in mobilization of violence in elections. I want to tell you that even as much as police are culpable, politicians are equally culpable.
Okay.
Because the people who organize goons and whatever are most politicians.
Yeah.
And then that triggers the reaction by police to come in. Of course, they don't have to come in with more violence than there is. So what I just want to say is that let's not paint the wrong picture, that we need to wash up our politics,
yeah,
and ensure that people are held accountable.
Okay.
And until and unless,
yeah,
there is demonstrable, visible repercussions or, yeah, consequences for somebody who engages, then it will continue.
All right. We'll take a quick break here on Daybreak. When we come back, we will now talk about the BBI. We've not met since the ruling came through. We'll talk about it just very briefly as we move on to other stories as well here. There's Martha Koome, who's expected to be sworn in as the Chief Justice. All right. Let's have that right after the break.